What is up, everybody? It is Alex from Heavy New York, calling from the quarantine zone again, and this time we got Pekka from Brother Firetribe. Thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Good to hear from you, Alex.
Yeah, it's great to hear from you as well. We got some new music coming out next week, Feel the Burn. Do you just want to talk about, like, how the making of this record was? Was this intended to just be a direct continuation of Sunbound? How did Feel the Burn sort of, like, come to be?
Well, to begin with, when we started talking about the next album after Sunbound, I think the overall, we all had this thought about the next one to make it a bit different in a way that all the previous albums, 4 or 5, something like that. We've done everything the same way, from start to finish, which is me and Dompa, the keyboard player, we write the songs, and then the guys do their own parts. Then we kind of arrange them a little, then we record them and put them out, and that's about it. So the first step was obviously to have somebody outside the band to take care of the production duties, and that's what we did. And so that alone changed things a lot, because we had somebody. We used a producer for the first time. And then, of course, we had a lineup change. Empu and the band went our separate ways due to Nightwish's, tight as hell schedules, and there was no drama behind that. And Roope Riihijärvi stepped in and did a great job, obviously. And so, those things make a huge difference, obviously. So yeah, I mean, we just told Jimmy Westerland, who produced the album, that, okay, man, I mean, he's a good friend. We've known him. He knows the band inside out, and he's a great producer. He's a great songwriter. He's a great guitarist. So it was, fairly easy start working together, and so we sort of, gave him the keys, like, okay, now you're on the driver's seat, and let's, just give us what you got, and he did a great job. I mean, the result is, it's still very much Brother Firetribe, but with a new twist, and I love that.
Mm-hmm. Could the first single that you released, Night Drive, almost serve as like a clear representation of this new direction of Brother Firetribe, or is this just scratching the surface?
It's it represents the album really well. I mean, once you start, once you put it on, it's kind of clear that there's something new happening within a band. But once you get into it, as soon as the song starts rolling, it's definitely Brother Firetribe. But yeah, that's a good example of what we've come up with.
Yeah, well, like, I'd imagine that, like, because from listening to the album, I thought, like, a song like Night Drive, going to Chariot of Fire, to a song like Ticking Away and Battleground, it almost seems like there was a lot of vibes and a lot of different sounds. Do you try to maybe have, like, maintain a formula in Brother Firetribe, or is there sort of, like, some experimentation involved in the songwriting process?
We always, we start out, me and the keyboard player, we start writing a song, and it's always what it is. We can't change that. And then we kind of we make a demo out of that, and then we threw it to Jimmy, who has a different kind of mindset on how to write a song, and he just kind of took what we had, took the skeleton, and put the meat around the bones, So I think that worked really well, and he came up with some fantastic ideas about, how to use chords in certain parts, and he came up with some really cool melody hooks, and we even, we had these 24-hour, marathon lead vocal sessions where we just sat down and ended up rewriting a lot of the lyrics on a particular song, which I thought was great. We were just after hook after hook. That's all that counts. Without changing lyrics around, without losing the idea of the song or the story of the song. So all in all, it was just it was tough. The studio sessions. He likes to work during nights, and and I'm not really used to that. But lo and behold, everything worked. I mean, it was tough, but definitely worth it.
Yeah, definitely. Do you when it comes to the vocals, is there ever a time where maybe you have like a story or lyrics already beforehand and that could help dictate the direction of the music, or do you need the music before you have the vocals incorporated?
Oh, it's pretty much always the music comes first, or I might have, if I'm writing a song with an acoustic guitar, I might have a hook line, certain words put together, and then it just kind of starts hammering in my head, and kind of it finds a melody on top of it, and then it's just all about putting the chords to it, and but it kind of varies. If Tompa comes up with, he never comes up with a melody. He just throws me a keyboard riff or a chord progression, and I just, if it sparks something in me, I just, try to do justice to what he's come up with.
It's amazing how just hearing one note can open up so many new doors, right?
Exactly, or just a chord, just starting from a certain, minor chord. It just drives you into a certain direction. It's funny.
Yeah, because, chords and musical notes, I mean, they've been around forever. But who would have thought that, when who would have thought that when you were writing, these basic chords or whatever, playing these chords, back in the 1990s, that we could hear them on False Metal or Heart Full of Fire or any of the albums later? That the songs are already there. It was up to you guys to dig them out.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly how I see it. And, it still amazes me what you can do with those three basic chords. I mean, for real, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, people say the Ramones' music are too simple. I mean, it's not too simple at all. They're basic chords, sure, and they're simple, but think about what they were able to do with them.
Exactly, and how it makes people feel. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, and there's just something to be said about, the 11.5-minute guitar solos with 1,000 different notes per minute, but
Well, the world has a place for that too, I'm not taking anything away from those guys who do that, but when it comes to songwriting, it's what matters the most for a band like Brother Firetribe. It's always the hook and the melody, and that's it,
Yeah, and has there ever been a time where inspiration or ideas just struck at the most inconvenient times when you're not near a musical instrument or you're not in the studio? That's got to be the worst, right?
Yeah, but thanks to modern technology, you can always hum something to your iPhone or something like that. So, but yeah, it happens rarely though. But yeah, it's bound to happen, and I think I wrote most of the song that was on the previous album, a song called Phantasmagoria. I think most of it came of the melody and the lyrics. I wrote in 20 minutes on a train. So that was, I was just trying to, keep the focus as hard as I could and scribbled something down on my phone. And but yeah, it happens.
Were you humming notes in public on the train? Were people looking?
Yeah. You have to do that. Yeah, absolutely.
That's one way
People
to promote
think I'm
yourself.
crazy anyway, so what the hell?
Yeah, and no, it's self promotion. I think that's great.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
If I saw somebody humming on the train, I'd ask what band they're in.
Yeah, and I can always pretend I'm drunk. I don't even have to pretend I'm drunk, actually.
Yeah, there was a story. My friend hummed something into his phone one time, and he meant to send it to his friend, but he accidentally sent it to his mom, and his mom was terrified that he was just driving while drunk, but it was just humming a melody.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I've always thought that your music does have a great emotion behind it as well. Like I remember listening to your previous album, and like I thought that with a song like "Love Is Not Enough," going from far away from love, for better or for worse, like those songs like had a great emotion. Like, are these songs and these lyrics even representative like what you were feeling at a particular time?
Yeah, of course. It always comes down to, you have to write about something or something you feel, or otherwise it wouldn't mean shit. So, most of the lyrical content that this band has always something to do with the constant battle between a man and a woman, because that's endless. You can always write about that. And, but it's, in my line of work, what I do, I play and sing to make a living, and I'm out there all the time. So I meet a lot of people. So you just hear a lot of stories and got a lot of friends and just watching around me, there's a lot of stuff going on all the time. So, and plus you just add your own personal experiences. So it's a mix of fact and fiction, and you just try to come up with something cool, something that when you say a line, it should always sound cool.
Yeah, it's fair to say that when you look at the entirety of your catalog, from False Metal to Heart Full of Fire to Diamond in the Fire Pit to to this new album, it is almost kind of like a representation of who you are at a particular time. These are kind of like self-portraits, right?
Yeah, well, you can't avoid that. If you do something that comes from the heart, you can't avoid that.
Yeah, of course. And, I think do you like approach the lyric? I feel like you could approach the lyrics like both very literally and very metaphorically. I feel like you sing about a very relatable subject matter that many people have different experiences and different perceptions on.
Yeah, of course. I can't see myself, singing about, I have opinions about, what's going on in the world, and I follow the news, but I've never felt the need to bring my political views or something like that to the music that Brother Firetribe does. I mean, there are lots of people who are doing a great job with that, and I appreciate that. But this band is just, I can't see us singing about the election, what's going on, about wars or who's to blame or something like that. I just leave that to other people.
I feel like your music is actually like a good way of escaping the world rather than necessarily addressing it.
Yeah, that's the idea. I mean, that's why with the world being right now what it is, and the situation being what it is, I mean, we could have postponed the release of Feel the Burn until forever, until things, so to speak, come back to normal. I don't think things will ever be normal again. I mean, this is the normal. So we just kind of thought that, okay, we're probably not able to go out there and play these songs to people, which is obviously the best part of the whole thing that we do. So, but we thought, okay, let's just put it out, because maybe one of the strengths that this band has is a way of making people feel good. There's some strange element to this band that has this kind of a uplifting quality to it. So we thought, hey, let's put it out and hope that people check it out and feel good about it, and just have something else to think about for a while than the shitstorm that's around them.
Yeah, there's something to be said about like bands, putting out the music that could resonate with the anger and the depression, but there's also something to be
Mhm.
said to make music to uplift people during this time as well. I feel like
Yeah,
your music demonstrates like a positive vibe that would feel great to escape all the darkness that we're facing now.
yeah, and I think there's music all in all. I mean, whether it's angry and heavy and you put on a real aggressive metal album and you can let off steam by putting that on. But there's a demand for that, especially in now in the modern times. But like you said, at the same time, there's a demand for the uplifting stuff. The escapism kind of thing.
Absolutely. I have two more questions for you. You ready for the most difficult question about songwriting?
Oh shit! Okay, hit me.
How do you know when a song is done?
I don't. But at some point, you just give up. You just have to give up. You can't do that one song forever. I mean, but we're probably pretty good at leaving it be. You know, because it was funny with with this album. Having a producer there for the first time, and he just wanted to go on, and we had to be there to just shut the fuck up. Let's move on to the next one. So we've never really had a huge problem with honing a song for too long.
Yeah, we talked about in the beginning of this that one note could open so many doors, but sometimes one note over it could also kill everything as well.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. And then, of course, the final question I wanted to ask you is I have yet to see Brother Firetribe live, and I really hope that you could come to the States soon. I would love to see you guys play. We would love you here in New York. But when it comes to playing live, like, is there maybe something very similar to playing live as when you're in, like, the vocal booth and, you're songwriting, or is it, like, a completely separate art altogether?
It's completely different. I mean, just between you and I hate being in that booth. I don't like to be in the studio at all. I'm not a big fan of, it's always a bit of a pain in the ass to write a song. It's, 100% the best thing about this whole thing is playing live in front of people. That's the thing. Of course you're so happy and overwhelmed when you get something done, in terms of albums or singles or whatever, or music videos or anything that has to do with the band and the music. But nothing, absolutely nothing, beats the experience of being there on stage in front of people who actually, appreciate what you're doing. That's the best thing.
Yeah. And I'd imagine.
No contest.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though, because, when you're playing live, you're taking material that's on the album and you're just replicating it in a live setting. Is there remotely anything about creative, or is there anything creative about playing live?
Of course there is. It's the situation itself kind of drives you to take risks, and especially to me, as a lead singer, it's all about the interaction, and I always try to find every eye in the house, during that one gig, because that's once in a lifetime chance to get connected with those people, maybe. So it's really important, and of course it affects on how I sing the songs. They're not note for note like on the album. So at least I get to be creative when I'm on stage, definitely.
Excellent. And maybe you'll have some new ideas on how you could maybe something could inspire you in the audience that could ultimately influence a song too.
Absolutely, yeah.
So before we go, I want to thank you so much for your time today. Great to chat with you. Is there just anything that else you would like to promote for Brother Firetribe? The new album comes out on the 18th. Obviously, when all this is over, we'll be seeing you guys on the road quite a bit, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, we're in the mode of ready, set, and we're just waiting for the word go. And meanwhile, just check out Feel the Burn, and all we can do is hope it makes you feel good, and that's it. And Alex, thanks so much for taking the time, and I really appreciate this.
Of course, it was. Thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate talking to you and talked with an artist that's writing music for the sole purpose of making people feel good. We really need that at the moment. So thank you.
Cool.
Yeah.
Great to hear that. And you guys stay safe there.
Thank you so much, everybody. We are here with Brother Firetribe. Feel the Burn out September 18th. Pick it up then when supplies last forever, and we will see you next time on Heavy New York.